Mr. Mayor, I want to begin by thanking you for your collaborative approach so far. I've heard from you personally more times in the last few weeks than I ever did from the previous mayor in 4 years, and it's so important. I want to ask you about savings.
Hmm.
In your testimony, you said that your administration is assuming an aggressive posture on savings without compromising city services. I've always found that to be far more difficult than it sounds, finding savings that don't hurt New Yorkers. Mr. Mayor, the previous administrations relied on programs to eliminate the gaps, or pegs to find savings, where they would set targets for commissioners, 3%, 5%, sometimes as high as 7 or 8%, regardless of agency mission or performance. And when I was on the city council, we were very critical of that approach because what we often observed was hiring freezes where we needed staff, prolonged vacancies for critical positions, deferred maintenance, agencies doing less with less. You've replaced this PEG system with these chief savings officers for each agency, and you've tasked them with finding savings and reporting back in 45 days. Mr. Mayor, what is the difference between the previous model of PEGs and your chief savings officers?
I think the critical for actually, first of all, let me say congratulations
Thank you.
on the position and also the chairmanship, and I really do appreciate the focus you are also bringing on the specificity of our city. I think one of the things that your question gets to the heart of is how can we ensure that any saving the city is making is one that doesn't then inhibit the city's ability to deliver quality services. And so this what we have been doing over the last few weeks is interrogating every single dollar that we spend alongside the designation of chief savings officers to ensure that these savings do not approach what we have seen in the past, whereby the amount of money is such that the agency cannot actually deliver on its quality functions. I'm going to pass it over to my budget director to speak a little bit more specifically to the heart of the question.
Thank you, and good to see you, Senator. And obviously have had a lot of interactions in the city council, so it's good to see you again. As the mayor said, the chief savings officers have an aggressive timeline within 45 days to come back with ideas on how to save taxpayer dollars. Among the things they're going to be looking at are reducing sort of outside contracts, consulting contracts. They can look at programs to see, after you use data and metrics, what's working, what's not working. They can look at operations to see what's more efficient. We expect that these initiatives will yield more than $1 billion in savings that we can put into our financial plan and start to eat away at the budget gap. But clearly that the mayor is committed to making sure that this model of doing a blunt instrument with across-the-board cuts, we need to do it with a scalpel, not having sort of a broad-based approach.
Where did the $1 billion figure, where did that come from? What data points do we have to indicate that there are that much savings to be had in New York City government?
Well, again, I think that's the work of the chief savings officers. We know from former attempts at this, and as you noted, there have been programs to eliminate the gap, and agencies have made submissions. So we have that in the rearview mirror to be able to look at that and say, what were the programs that were put up? Where do we spend most of our taxpayer dollars in terms of programs? Where are the major cost centers? And then you look at that and come up with an estimate. But as the mayor said, agencies right now are not functioning optimally as they could. There are 13,000 vacancies in the city of New York, right? So we need to understand government needs to function, and we cannot cut our way out of this budget crisis.
Can you give an example of an agency, understanding that we're going to get all the results back from the chief savings officers? Can you give me an example of an agency that you've seen not functioning optimally? It's just some data point that indicates that there's $1 billion out there to be found.
Well, the first thing I would say is when you look at the Department of Finance, for example, right? We're short on auditors in the Department of Finance, right? There was a time when the IRS was staffing up and we were losing auditors. Now we think that we can gain some of those auditors back, right? That is an example where there are vacancies in a critical function that need to be filled. So that would be one example.
There are vacant positions that are left over from the last administration, critical vacant positions. There's a lot of them. How is that going to affect this mission of achieving savings? Isn't it true that you're going to have to fill many positions that the Adams administration should have filled? How does that factor into the savings that are going to be found?
You know, we are, I think, first and foremost, we are asking ourselves of what effect these policies have had. Because I think even to your questions and even to Sharif's answers, we can see that there are certain positions that by leaving vacant have actually cost the city more money than it's saved. Right? We know that the IBO has said year after year, if you were to hire more auditors, you could actually increase receipts from tax collection. And yet the justification of savings has been used to prevent the hiring of those auditors. So we want to ensure that we are starting to bridge that gap of the thousands of vacancies that we see in city government, especially because a lot of times what the approach has been on those vacancies has inhibited the ability of city government to actually deliver on its job. And as much as we speak about a new era in government, we know that we can only win the faith of New Yorkers if we can deliver on the services that they are so desperate for and that they have been denied year after year. And I think that is this is all kind of the details that we will release on February 17th, which also happens to be the first day of Ramadan. It's a great way to start it. And we'll be sharing those details. But as we have these, we also want to share them with you.
One thing I've observed over the years, and increasingly so as technology has improved so much, and there's so many tasks that technology can assist with, to what extent are you having people looking at, cutting edge technology and how that can help improve the efficiency of agencies? Do you have these minds working on this aspect of it?
Absolutely. This is a key way that we're looking to take a hard look at our city budget. And I'm actually quite proud to be here just a day after we announced our new Chief Technology Officer, Lisa Galobter, who comes with an incredible resume of not only working for the Obama White House, but also helping to found Shockwave, which is one of the most critical inventions in the modern internet, something that actually, in her words, allows the internet to move. And for her to bring that level of expertise, it unlocks both what you are speaking to, Senator, as well as the need for us to deliver city services in the digital age, because there are far too many city services that do not move with each medium that you're using them on. They are trapped in many ways in the past. And I don't just say that because I have to use Microsoft Teams now.
Don't get me started on Microsoft Teams.
Do a whole other hearing on Microsoft Teams.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we want to be partners with you in this and want to be of assistance in this. I'm greatly looking forward to a collaborative partnership as opposed to a adversarial relationship that we've had with previous administrations in the coming months. I greatly look forward to working with you and your team to get us through this crisis, which is what it is. Yeah. But I'm confident that we can do it together. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. We've been joined